When the Velvet Underground and Nico released in 1969, some critics of the album called it a glorification of drug use due to the inclusion of songs like Waiting for the Man, about waiting for a drug dealer, and Heroin, a song accounting the experience of using heroin. Songwriter Lou Reed objected to the notion that these songs were promotions of drug use, but he did receive troubling anecdotes from fans now and again. Quote, I meant those songs to sort of exercise the darkness or the self-destructive element in me, and hoped other people would take them the same way. When I saw how people were responding to them, it was disturbing. Because, people would come up and say, I shot up to heroin, things like that. For a while, I was even thinking that some of my songs might have contributed formatively to the consciousness of all these addictions and things going down with the kids today. But I don't think that anymore. It's really too awful a thing to consider, said Reed. It may have been thoughts like this that led to the gentle track that accompanied the hit single Walk on the Wild Side in 1972 as a double A-side release to promote his second studio album, Transformer, produced by Velvet Underground superfan David Bowie and legendary Spiders from Mars guitarist Mick Ronson. During its initial release cycle, Walk on the Wild Side received most of the fame, but the second track was thrown back into the public eye in the 90s, where it was featured in the 1996 film Trainspotting, a black comedy drama about heroin users. Maybe due to this film that listeners deemed this tender tune to secretly be about heroin. Of course, it could also be due to Reed's extensive history with heroin use. Reed himself called the drug interpretation of this song laughable in a radio interview in 2000. Quote, no, you're talking to the writer, the person who wrote it. That's not true. I don't object to that particularly. Whatever you think is perfect, said Reed. If Reed sounds a bit fed up in that quote, then it may be because he believes the song to be incredibly simple. Despite his belief, publications have been asking him about the meaning behind the song since its release. In 1973, Reed told NME the following when asked about what his song was about. Quote, that's a lovely song, a description of a very straightforward affair, said Reed. It may be straightforward for Reed, but the rest of the world has found it ambiguous enough to use for a multitude of purposes. In 1997, BBC used the single, recorded by an army of popular artists, including Reed, Bowie, Bono, Elton John, Emmylou Harris, and many more, as a means to promote BBC radio and television. The single was later released as a charity single for BBC's Children in Need. The song was also recorded by a large group of no-name actors in 2013 for a PlayStation 4 ad, released just weeks before Reed's death. So whether it's doing drugs, giving money to the BBC, playing video games, or pronouncing the word sangria all weird, turns out there's quite a few ways to have a perfect day. That's right, we're talking Lou Reed's Perfect Day on Cover Me.
Oh, it's such a perfect day. I'm glad I spent it with you. Oh, such a perfect day. You just keep...
That's right, it's Cover Me, the only podcast that compares famous songs to their many cover versions to find out which one is going to reap just what it sows. I'm your host, as always, The Snake, joined by my perfect co-host...
Alex Mildenberger.
Alex Mildenberger.
Yeah, didn't mess that up.
No.
It's pretty easy for me.
Because it was perfect. It's not
Perfect.
hard. You've been doing it for 5 years, I would imagine. It's
But my voice has been rebelling today. So I didn't
that's right.
apparently
Your
too
throat's
much
doing
exercise in 2 minutes. And now I'm coughing a lot.
That's right, people. Alex was fucking today.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're doing it. Wait, what kind of obstacles were it? You didn't. Alex was doing an obstacle course for his corporate overlords.
Yeah.
Sort of like a Hunger Games light.
Like a Hunger Games light. I had to do like a crawl under. I mean, they call it a barbed wire crawl, but they don't give you barbed wire because they don't want you to hurt yourself.
Okay, right,
but
sure.
yeah, you crawl under the strings or whatever, and then I had to do like a climb, like horizontal across a wall thing, and then there was like one of those big nets. You climb up and over, and
up and over,
like some monkey bars. And honestly, that was all I had to do. Just to go really fast, and like I didn't even break a sweat. And then I couldn't breathe afterwards. It was really weird. Well, I could breathe, actually. I was just coughing.
You could breathe. You're just coughing a lot. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
So it sounds like it was just military training.
Yeah. It's like that kind of stuff. If
Is
you
it the
get
start
really
of,
good
like-
at it, then they do the with like the salmon ladder and stuff like that, but I've never attempted that.
You've never attempted the salmon ladder.
Yeah. Or like, jumping over walls and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Are you being trained to become like a corporate citizen? Are you going to be part of their private military company? What's going on?
I mean, if they had more than one session, then maybe.
Okay, but it's just the one.
Yeah, I don't know. Just Calgary does this. It's the Calgary Corporate Challenge. They do it
It's a Calgary-wide thing.
every
Okay.
year. Yeah, and just a bunch of the corporations get together and do sporting events.
Okay. Interesting.
And e-sporting events as well.
E-sporting?
Yeah, unfortunately they took Mario Kart out, so I wasn't a part of that.
Ah, damn.
Yeah.
What other where they got League of Legends?
Yeah,
like
it's like League of
Overwatch?
Legends. I think they might have taken that one out. I think Fortnite and maybe
okay, yeah.
Rocket League. It's like that kind of stuff. StarCraft. I don't think it was StarCraft. StarCraft 64.
Yeah, StarCraft 64. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's corporations.
Yeah,
Great
that's
to talk
corporations.
about those. Love them. Love them pieces. Alex, we're talking not about corporations, but about Lou Reed.
Not talking about corporations. Yeah, we're talking about Lou Reed. We've talked about Lou Reed a couple times before.
Yes.
Not like solo or not.
No, it's typically been Velvet Underground
Yeah,
stuff.
Velvet
We've talked
Underground.
about the Velvet Underground and Nico album. We've talked about Sweet Jane. No, we haven't done
We
any
talked
of the
about I'll Be Your
solo
Mirror.
work. Yes.
And I'll Be Your Mirror. The
That's
song
right.
and the album.
The song and the album, yes.
Yeah. But this is solo. Post that. And it's wild. Obviously, I knew the song Walk on the Wild Side. But it's wild to think like that this happened, and it happened largely because like David Bowie was involved.
Yeah, well, because
Or that was a big part of it.
Lou Reed released his first solo album and it did terribly. It was self-titled Lou Reed and nobody fucking bought it.
I have not listened to it.
Nor have I. But David Bowie kind of coming into the peak of his powers here, maybe in 1972, was like, I'm just going to get dudes I really like to record music at like a studio with me.
Yeah.
And so he got Lou Reed and Iggy Pop. He kind of fucking just put those guys back into the limelight.
Right.
And here you get this Transformer, which, yeah, not only David Bowie in a production role, but he of course features on a few tracks, including playing keyboards on this, which I didn't notice keyboards, but
like piano?
No, because piano's Mick Ronson.
Oh yeah, I don't know what that would refer to then.
Well, listen, maybe he was typing,
but yeah, maybe he was the what's the word stenographer for the recording sessions, but. Yeah, it has definitely that like early 70s Bowie like Spiders from Mars DNA. Obviously,
yes, for sure.
And it's there, and like the idea that, I mean, when I heard this album and when I heard this song, I was already a pretty big fan of that stuff. So just to have more of that, and also the Velvet Underground.
I was a huge Velvet Underground fan.
So just like to have all those things come together is just like how did that even happen?
Yeah, it's one of those things I was like, I didn't know they were making stuff just for me.
Yeah.
Obviously, it appeals to a broader audience than me, but it's like, wow, yeah, I would definitely want this, and they made it, and it's Transformer. Great album.
It's electric.
Yeah, it's electric.
Because of the Transformer. And it changes.
Yes,
I don't know.
Yes, Alex. It's a robot in disguise, this album,
it's a robot.
Alex.
It's a robot in disguise.
Yeah. Yes, Alex. Alex, do you like Perfect Day? Is that your favorite track off this?
My favorite
this
track? No. I don't know my favorite. I don't know what I'd say. I just really like the album. It's a good song. I really like the song. It's a great song.
Finish.
You know?
It is a great song.
Good feeling.
It's good. It's good.
It's almost like like Sunday morning kind of thing. Like there's a similar, I think, idea. Just to compare it to something off the Velvet Underground and Nico.
Yeah.
I
think there is
similar
some
vibes
DNA shared there.
in ways. Although the story I heard about this, I mean, a lot of these songs were written in Velvet Underground times.
Yes.
And there are apparently, I haven't heard them, but like live recordings and demos and stuff where it's the Velvet
quite
Underground
a few
playing
of them.
These songs.
I don't think Perfect Day is one of those, though.
Okay.
So the ones that are from that are, I believe, Andy's Chest.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we got? Let me see here. I'm just pulling it up now because I did look at this today. Andy's Chest was first recorded in 1969 by the Velvet Underground. Satellite of Love, demoed in 1970. Mm-hmm. Those are the two major ones. New York Telephone Conversation and Goodnight Ladies were played live during the band's summer of 1970 residency at Max's Kansas City. So that's about 4 tracks off the album. And Vicious, of course, was influenced by Andy Warhol.
Right, saying something weird.
Yeah, because he said, according to Reed, Warhol told him he should write a song about someone vicious. When Reed asked what he meant by vicious, Warhol replied, "Oh, you know, like I hit you with a flower." Which, of course, is a line that makes it directly into the song.
And doesn't make any sense. Well, it does, but like...
It perhaps makes sense, but it's some bizarro Warhol shit.
Yeah.
Like, you ask any person what vicious is, I don't think their first definition would be like, well, it clarifies. Like when I hit you with a flower.
Like if I hit you with a flower? Yeah, obviously.
So yeah, that's about, like, give or take, about half the album is his previous works. But Perfect Day, I think, is actually written for this. Perfect Day, Walk on the Wild Side, and a couple others, of course, are Transformer originals, 1972 originals. Now, Alex, people on the internet, they love to think songs are about drugs.
Yeah.
Do you think this one's about drugs?
No, I don't. I mean, obviously, Lou Reed has come out and said explicitly, like, I didn't write it about drugs. I see why you'd think it was, though.
Yeah.
Because it can be about just like, I mean, or part of it at least. Part of it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
But the idea of just like sitting around, you know, the events described in the song, like, yeah, okay, I could see that. Like, you just like sit around and shoot up heroin and I guess have a good time or whatever. I don't know if it's that true to life necessarily, but
I don't think, especially the first verse doesn't really speak to
feed animals in the zoo.
Yeah, go to a movie. These are all the things that heroin users do.
I've always said that. Junkies always feeding animals in the zoo.
Yeah, after having sangria in the park. So let's talk about these lyrics, Alex, because we're talking about it. It opens up, just a perfect day, drink sangria in the park, and then later, when it gets dark, we go home. Just a perfect day, feed animals in the zoo, then later a movie too, and then home.
Yeah, which seems to be somewhat contradictory, unless you go home in between.
Or it's two different
perfect days. Yeah, I guess the point is it's a perfect day because they're together.
Yes.
It doesn't matter so much what they do, as long as they do
together. This is from Victor Bakri's Transformer, the Lou Reed story. The lyrics suggest simple, conventional romantic devotion, possibly alluding to Reed's relationship with, I'm assuming it's Betty, but it's got an E on the end of, so it's Betty. Betty Kronstadt, soon to become his first wife.
Yeah, sure. Betty.
So it could be that. Could just be he had a good day with his wife. So yeah, he describes these are very like pedestrian. It's very like everyman activities. Anyone could be doing this.
Yeah, it's not. There's no like real grand romance to it. It's just hanging out, doing simple things, drink some sangria, and then most importantly, like you just spend the day together and go home. Like it's that. Yeah, that's all it is.
That's it. Yeah, it's perfect, simple. You don't need to be doing anything grandiose. It's a nice little depiction of love, I think.
Yeah, which I think we've seen a little bit of in other Lou Reed songs, you know?
Yeah.
Talks about simple things. And like, I'm even thinking of Sweet Jane where they're just sitting by the fire, like singing together or whatever. Listen to the radio.
Yeah, it's like Sweet Jane, as we kind of talked about, is just like no matter what love looks like, it is love. And so he kind of depicts these loves that are different to him. And like, he has a very good, for being such like a crotchety prick, he has very good and I think beautiful depictions of love in his work. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, sometimes artists have that where they don't come off the way or maybe they express themselves just differently through their poetry or lyrics than they're speaking.
Yeah, I guess because like he even like he had to write "I'll Be Your Mirror" like for Nico to sing. I remember us talking about it, and he like didn't want to fucking do it, and then he writes "I'll Be Your Mirror," and that's like an incredibly beautiful love song. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, also funny when artists are like, I don't want to do it, and then they're like, but you gotta, and he's like, fine, I'll make something like, legendary then.
Yeah, here's a masterpiece. Leave me the fuck alone. Like, it's bizarre.
Like, good job. I'm surprised, but good job.
But yeah, from first one, there's no real. I think there is darkness that creeps in here. Much like who's the Talking Heads man?
David Byrne.
Yes, much like David Byrne, who's like, oh, I never really write straightforward love songs except for once in a lifetime. This also, I feel like Lou Reed is like, well, maybe I won't write something straightforward, but it comes off very straightforward in the verse.
Sorry, the song is This Must Be the Place.
That's right. Sorry, I said the wrong one.
Anyway, I also got blocked on remembering what it was called.
Yeah, okay, yeah, This Must Be the Place. Is the
anyway,
once in a lifetime.
Sorry, I'm like a few ticks behind.
No, I know there's a delay because Discord is good.
Sure, yeah, it's all Discord. I'll blame Discord.
Well, it's all right, whatever. But okay, so we hit the chorus on this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a perfect day. I'm glad I spent it with you. Oh, such a perfect day. You just keep me hanging on. You just keep me hanging on.
Sorry, you said there was some darkness.
Yes.
What's the darkness?
In the chorus here.
Oh,
you just keep me hanging on.
Okay. Oh, I see. I understand.
The darkness in the first verse is that it gets dark and they go home.
It gets dark,
but that's not real darkness. There's no darkness in the first verse. That's what I was saying.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But it starts to slip in here, and of course in the final outro refrain.
Right, because they are the reasons for him perhaps staying alive, or
Yeah, so you
still
just keep
trying in
on.
life.
Yeah, it implies that there are
reason for living.
Things that are stopping that would encourage him to not hang on, right?
Yeah, that's true,
So
and I mean we see that as well in there's a lot of darkness that creeps in around. Obviously, he has an entire song called "Heroin."
That's right.
Using heroin.
But yeah, he describes a perfect day. I'm glad I spent it with you. That's a pretty genuine notion there. I don't think there's any irony there.
Yeah, it's one of those just real straightforward like statements.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it reminds me of something similar that like John Lennon said about Help, about how he just liked how straightforward and honest it was.
Right. Oh yeah, I need somebody, not just anybody.
I mean, it's simple, but it's like, yeah, that's what I was feeling at the time.
Yeah. So yeah, here he goes. He's oh, this was a perfect day. You keep me hanging on, which could be just fine. It's like, oh yeah, you're worth living for. What a nice thing. But I think as we come into verse, like the end of verse 2, really, and then the outro refrain, we start to get some idea of like something under the surface here.
Even right at the start of verse 2.
Oh yeah. Just a perfect day. Problems all left alone. Weekenders on our own. It's such fun. Just a perfect day. You made me forget myself. I thought I was someone else. Someone good.
Someone good. Yeah. I mean, everyone has problems, obviously, but it does allude to, some problems. So it's just a little bit at the start. Problems all left alone.
Mm-hmm. And specifically, it refers to not solving problems, but leaving them alone.
Yeah, ignoring them and not needing to think about them.
Mm-hmm.
Which is sometimes the worst part about problems is thinking about them when you're not doing anything about them.
Yeah.
Or when you perhaps can't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're putting these things aside. They sometimes they fester. They grow.
Yeah. You got to distract yourself.
You get distracted. But yeah, weekenders on our own. So this seems to be something they do every weekend. And it's this, for the weekend for most 9-to-5ers, people working Monday to Friday. That's the only time you really have to yourself.
Yeah, this is actually a reference to the cartoon The Weekenders.
That's right.
They're watching The Weekenders.
Yeah,
cartoon.
separately.
Separately. Because they want to talk about the plot afterwards, and they don't want to influence each other's opinions.
They don't want to exactly. The viewing experience needs to be pure, so they can come together.
Because they're artists.
Yeah, they're artists. No, so they're doing stuff on the weekend.
Yeah, they're doing stuff on the weekend with each other. They're having fun. But it's also, I mean, we'll talk about the delivery a bit later, but it's also very understated. So.
Yeah, it's such fun. This is where you get some of that in there. It reminds me of a bit of After Hours by the Velvet Underground.
I don't know that song.
Oh, you don't know that song? If you close the door, a night could last forever. Dun, dun, dun. It's about killing yourself.
Ah, sweet.
But it is so very sing-songy and sweet. And I feel like there's a bit of that like saccharine delivery on It's Such Fun as well. Because I think he's now alluding to the avoiding of problems. And he says, just a perfect day. You made me forget myself. I thought I was someone else, someone good. So again, he's like detaching from himself. And I can see where people are like, oh, it must be heroin. He's speaking to heroin here because you can disassociate with heroin.
Yeah, and I do see that, and I've heard, I don't know if this is real, because it's just something I heard on the internet, but like the feeling of heroin use is similar to the feeling of like feeling like loved, basically. So again, I don't know how close that is to reality, but that's a thing that I have heard before, and that would
next
check
week
out
when we try heroin.
That would potentially check out with this song as well.
Potentially, yeah, but I think in terms of like, either he's a guy who's just doing heroin on the weekends, which is like fine, probably. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you how much heroin to use, but 2 out of 7 days a week is a lot better than 7 out of 7 days. So it seems like less of a problem in my eyes.
So I still don't think it's about drugs, but I can kind of see still where that comes from.
Yeah, I think it's still just like spending time with this person, you know, tucking into romance instead of dealing with your own problems is kind of the vibe I get from this. And then that being with this person makes you forget the parts of yourself that you maybe need to deal with or don't want to think about these problems.
Yeah, exactly. Be a distraction, but it's good to distract each other together.
And then you get the chorus, such a perfect day, you keep me hanging on, and then the outro, you're going to reap just what you sow. Repeated.
Yeah, several times.
Of course, this is a hit line from Galatians 6:7.
Love Galatians.
Galatians, love Galatians. For whatsoever a man soweth, that he shall also reap. That shall he also reap.
Also reap. And like general concept of like, you get out what you put in.
You only get what you give.
Get what you give, exactly. Or like, you know, you make the world a little bit more like whatever you put into it. That sort of sentiment that is kind of so broadly applicable, right? Like here you could be talking about the relationship, you know, the love, or like the fact that he wants to pay back what he considers to be, you know, the other person creating these perfect days or this perfect day.
Yeah.
So it could be any of that, I think.
Yeah, it could be a very positive, like if we just take it straight-faced, it's just about a beautiful day, and maybe we can admit that forgetting our problems for a bit isn't the end of the world, right? Maybe this isn't a condemnation of enjoying recreational time, but simply a celebration of the simplicity of love and how it can take you somewhere else.
Yeah.
You're going to reap just what you sow. Oh, good times lead to good times. Nurturing this relationship is its own reward. You're going to reap just what you sow. Or it's about how you will eventually, like, these perfect days do not last. You can go to the fucking park and the zoo and watch movies all you want. Eventually it will catch up with you, and no matter how good you felt doing those pedestrian things, you're gonna fucking wind up somewhere. You're gonna have to deal with some shit eventually, and you're not gonna like it. Right.
Anytime you talk about reaping what you sow, if you sow positivity, then, you know, that's what you get out. If you sow negativity in some way, then that's what you get out. So however you interpret that. If you interpret ignoring responsibilities, I can see that's negative, especially if they're, you know, to other people, that kind of stuff. So it's very broad, I think, but it makes sense.
Makes sense. I do think it makes sense. I think people turn to a drug user interpretation of this almost to guard their own minds from that interpretation, though. Because if you look at this and you're like, yeah, there is shit I should do on the weekends instead of like drinking and just relaxing and avoiding
watching the clouds or whatever.
Yeah, watching the clouds or whatever. Like, I could be working to better myself and maybe get myself out of wherever I am that is causing me to need, you know, 2 full days of recreation.
Or just generally do life stuff.
Yeah,
not even necessarily like work towards some greater goal other than like survival.
Yeah, take a bath, you know, maybe. Maybe that's what you got to do. Wash yourself.
Cook a meal. I don't know.
Cook a meal. But yeah, I think it is meant to be brought, because if Lou Reed was going to write about heroin users, I think he'd just do it.
He has done it.
He has done it. And he did express some like regret about that, but then he also said that he couldn't think along those lines anymore. He's like, I can't blame myself for everyone's drug use, essentially. He's like, I can't hold that in my mind. So I do think this is meant to be like an indictment of the like the standard 9 to 5 living, I would call it. Weekenders on our own, it's such fun. He's saying doing some of them. Read a book, do something else on the weekend instead of just getting caught up in romance. Is kind of my read on it.
Interesting. I mean, I didn't pick any of that up, I'll admit. But then, yeah, what does the reap what you sow mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It could be like he's just like, yeah, fucking good weekends lead to more good weekends, good times, brother.
Or like love leads to more love.
Yeah.
Kind of.
It could be that, but then it's like
if you nurture the relationship, then it will stay positive.
Yeah, but there's just like little key lines here that I feel like we're supposed to pull. Somebody also calls it straightforward, so maybe he wasn't thinking about that.
Yeah, or if you work, he is talking about feeling, like he talks about, oh, I thought I was someone else, someone good. He doesn't think of himself as good, but just for a minute he does. So, the more you get that, the more you feel that in the future kind of thing.
Right. So yeah, I see saying that by investing in feeling emotionally good with somebody else, eventually you will get that feeling, perhaps without that person.
Yeah,
like in the hit film Limitless, where he takes the smart drug until he just doesn't need to take it anymore. He doesn't
need the smart drug anymore.
Exactly, and he's smarter than Robert De Niro, and buddy, that's it.
We all wish we could be smarter than Robert De Niro.
God, don't we? You can't do it.
Well,
he's too smart a guy.
There's one way I can think of.
If you're Bradley Cooper, you can do it.
Sorry, Cradley Booper. Anyway.
Pardon me, Cradley Booper, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, an interesting song, interesting lyrics, I think. And now I can never relax on the weekend again. Thank you, Lou Reed.
Thank you, Lou Reed.
But what's it all sound like? Oh, it sounds beautiful, man.
Oh, sure does.
There's little pianos. Alex, you tired? Am I boring you?
Yeah, if you could maybe just, I don't know, more like pop culture references or something, I think that would help.
Okay, Alex, yeah. So much like in the film The Pianist, there is piano in this.
Yeah, wow. It is just like The Pianist. I particularly like the part where he gets shot at by Russians.
Yeah, that's. I like the part where he's chasing a can of beans.
Is that the same part that he gets shot by Russians?
That may well be the same part.
I don't know. And he says he's cold.
I'll be honest, I caught half of The Pianist sometime when my parents were watching it. Don't remember a whole lot.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so there's a piano. There's also a bass. Just like in the movie The Pianist.
Is there a bass in The Pianist?
Not a bass guitar, though. I'm sure there was. I actually don't remember.
There's a trumpet, just like in the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Like, wow. And then drums, just like in the movie Whiplash.
That's right. There's also a tuba, just like in most Looney Tunes cartoons.
Most Looney Tunes cartoons, yeah. Well, these refs, we're dropping hot refs now.
And keyboards like in Office Space.
Like in Office Space. Yeah, keyboards. What's the keyboard?
What are the keyboards doing, man? I don't know.
They're not. I mean, there's just a keyboard on the piano. That's the only one I know. But there's a lot of piano in this song. Possibly, I might even call it primarily a piano song.
Yeah. It's yeah. You know what, Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, here's where you get a lot of that DNA. You get a similar sound to this, obviously, in Satellite of Love, which is on the same album. But I also think there's, some Life on Mars in there. Similarities.
Oh, yeah.
Similarities there. They share DNA. They share DNA.
And that DNA is Mick Ronson. Let's be real here.
Yeah. So you get a lot of those, these like twinkly passages and like rolled chords sound. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of that. And it's playing pretty slow.
Yeah. Drums are in the back really just to keep time. It's this gentle boom, tap, tap. As the piano.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom,
keeping it slow. There's also strings.
Yes.
Also arranged by Mick Ronson.
But we got to talk about his pronunciation on Sangria here.
Oh, sure. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Sangria? What the fuck's going on here?
New York accent?
Drink sangria.
No, I don't know, man. I say sangria.
Yeah, I
personally.
looked it up too because I was like, well, let's see what Google says, and it was like sangria, and I like checked. It was like American pronunciation or British. I was like, okay, what's British? It's like sangria. I'm like, okay, same thing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But I do know this. Lou
What do you know?
Reed didn't have access to that type
Okay.
of resource. So maybe
Yeah.
he just thought it was called sangria.
Maybe I mean, yeah, maybe he
Maybe
heard
that's
it from
how they
other
say it at the school
New
he went to or
Yorkers.
whatever.
Yeah, maybe at the School of Hard Knocks
School
where
of
he
Hard
fucking got his
Knocks.
education. That's
I'm
right.
pretty sure he went. I'm pretty sure he actually
did
has
go
like a
to
poetry
university.
degree or something.
We talked about his English teacher who fucking hated him.
Yeah, we did. We
And then-
did.
And he wrote European Son for him. But that's not here.
Maybe that's how his teacher said it.
And he says it that way in the BBC like corpo footage one too, because he's in that version as well, which we're not talking about today, but
No.
I watched it.
Yeah. He's just sometimes you got to say stuff weird, right? Like he's not rhyming or anything. So it's not like it serves the song necessarily, but sometimes you just fuck stuff up a little bit and then people are like, "What's going on? What? Does that drink what in the park?" And it's just a little, I don't know, mysterious that way. I swear
Yeah.
it works.
It's because
Sometimes.
I'll tell you, I didn't know until this week that what he was saying was sangria.
I didn't think of it either.
I was like, drink something in the park. I was like, cool,
And
yeah.
then later when it gets dark, we'll
Dark.
drink sangria.
We'll drink more sangria. Oh, I'm drinking
Sangria.
sangria. I drink that shit like all day. Here's my next question for you, Alex. If I put Rick Ocasek, Lou Reed, and Howard Stern in the lineup, do you think you could pick them out from each other?
Pick them out from each other. I mean, two of them are dead, so that would help. But honestly, probably not much. Like I could tell them apart from the living one,
I'm
but not
glad
necessarily each other.
you think I'd be able to get both of their corpses and Howard Stern in the same
And Howard
room.
Stern in the same room. I mean, that's how you get Howard Stern, honestly.
Yeah, I got two dead bodies.
Yeah, I got two dead bodies. See if you can tell me who they are. He's like, oh, that one's Rick Ocasek, and that one is
That's
Lou Reed. And you're like, you got him backwards.
You fucking idiot.
Impressive that
Look
you
at
got
the
who they were,
Look
though.
at the shape of the skulls.
Yeah, they might even
'Cause
have been cremated.
They would
I
have
don't know.
decomposed a bit. I maybe cremated. I don't know. Yes. All this to say, yeah, you get some strings on here.
They look similar,
You're
right?
Alex. They do look similar. That was my point.
Okay, is Lou Reed? I've never really seen Lou Reed with long hair.
He gets long hair that gets curly when it gets long.
Yeah, I've always seen him like early days and later days.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway.
I saw a shot of him like 2000s ish when it was grown out a bit, and I was like, oh yeah, that's
Howard Stern, baby.
Howard Stern, buddy.
Howard Stern.
But
If they had sunglasses on,
yeah,
couldn't tell.
I just actually saw a picture of him in sunglasses, but hey, it's not the point here. So we get the piano, we get the strings, and then it kind of like the strings build in intensity at the end of the first verse, and that lets us explode.
yeah,
into the
they do that.
chorus.
They do that big swell. They kind of team up.
Yeah.
the strings and the piano.
Mhm.
And then yeah, swell up.
Big piano hits in the chorus. Doom, doom.
Yeah, just playing black chords now. And before it was doing like
Yeah.
I said, twinkly passages and rolled chords.
Yeah.
Lou Reed's going. I mean, we talked about his delivery a little bit. It's very understated, and
Yeah.
I think flat even. And I think he's almost kind of doing that on
Mhm.
purpose. Like he's not hitting really the notes.
Yeah, he's almost trying to deliver it like he's John Q. Public. I feel like he's giving it an everyman delivery rather than like a more rock and
I mean,
roll,
yeah.
Sweet Jane kind of thing.
Right. And maybe part of that is just his. Well, I don't really know. I was gonna, like the way he's like trying to keep it like low, and he's like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Maybe he would have to sing harder to hit the notes, right? And he wants to keep it understated or something. Maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe. I think he is trying to hit some kind of like naivete, some sort of simple man vibe in here.
Yeah. Well, it works.
It works.
He also yodels a bit.
Well. Yeah, we've been hitting a yodel streak here recently.
Or at least now we know what to call it.
Yeah.
Little yodeling.
A little bit of yodel. You just keep me hanging on.
Exactly.
That was
He also
played
has
out,
a
yeah.
lot of vibrato in this one, eh?
Yeah.
He's on his voice throughout. Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah. He likes to hit the vibrato.
Mostly in the chorus.
Yeah. So then, yeah, we get the kind of big explosion at the end. You just keep me hanging on, and then it tempers back down to that verse structure. Strings have a little more presence on verse 2. This is kind of your classic pop build.
They kind of hold out. The piano's also, I think, playing like some more block chords. We're still back to twinklier stuff.
Yeah,
but we get a little bit of that.
But taking a bit of that block chord like heft with it.
Yeah.
Dum dum dum. Yeah.
There's also, I think, if I'm hearing this correctly, a little bit of. Well, I said trumpet, but I think because there's like a trumpet and a trombone.
A tuba.
Tuba. Yeah.
Trumpet and tuba.
That's what I meant. In this song, so you kind of get some of that, and it's subtle. It's
yeah.
Like, it's playing.
Yeah, truly, I listened to the song, took notes, checked the personnel, and I was like, "The fuck do you mean? There's trumpet and tuba in this?"
But
you go back, it is there. It is there. But that's because I get distracted by my favorite bit, which is after the second chorus.
Okay.
Which is the
piano solo.
Yeah, the little solo / bridge.
Yeah. Which is cool. The nice little piano riff.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said. There are strings on it. Like, it's mostly piano.
Yeah, the strings mirror it. So the piano sets it up, and then the strings come in to double it.
Yes, and the higher strings.
It's also, very oddly dramatic in a piece that so far has been very... I mean, the chorus is dramatic, but in, a big uplifting way. This one has a descending pattern.
Yeah, it feels very different. But what does it mean?
What does it mean, man?
It means it sounds cool.
Heroin's one hell of a drug, man. Yeah, it sounds fucking great.
Also get some horns in there. They just play 3 notes, basically. We talked about descending patterns. The horns do that too.
Yeah, so you get this big, very cool, instrumental bridge, because it starts as a solo, but then everything comes together. And then we again cut back to this very, very daydreamy, this very broken down, just you're gonna reap just what you sow.
And then the piano does is ba da bum bum. Is that after every line? I think it is.
She's so yeah, and then it kind of brings in this remnant of that bridge section. It does this. Yeah,
just a little bit. Yeah, that's that arrangement, man. Very nice.
Yeah, it's a light hand on this, and it works so good. It's a great song and such a good foil to most of what Lou Reed's stuff is, which is usually a lot more boisterous and
even if it's still simple
too. Yeah,
there's definitely often more stuff going or more energy in it.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, it plays out just on strings.
Yeah, it's that outro's a minute and 15 seconds, and it's just this very delicate strings, little touches of. Yeah, you just go out. It's a cool song. I always like this song. It always makes me think of autumn, though. It makes me think of a warm autumn day.
Warm autumn day. Just having a picnic or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
A sangria picnic. Sorry, sangria.
Sangria. Yeah, because you know what? Because that's when it would also get dark at a reasonable enough time to pack it in and go home.
Right.
And not... It's otherwise you're there till fucking 10 p.m. And you're well...
Still here.
Drank 6 jugs of sangria.
We got jugs.
I got jugs, baby.
Sangria.
Jugs. Sangy jugs. Alex, what do you think? Perfect day weather? Do you think it's autumn? You think it's spring? It could be a spring day.
I'm probably more of a spring person. Although, I've been looking forward to it not being quite so hot. And it has been hot for the last couple days.
Yeah, I was too. And then now that I know it's getting cooler, I'm running to get outside and get my vitamin D while I can, man.
Well, they're still making it, yeah.
Yeah, well, they're still pretty. Yeah, I'm going to Costco and I'm stocking up on vitamin D. Yeah. So hey, tell us what you think the perfect day is. Tell us your perfect day weather. No hashtag. I don't actually care. Don't tell us. You won't anyway.
Traditionally, doesn't happen.
Traditionally doesn't happen. Alex, anything else to say about this track before we move forward?
It's pretty good.
Okay, pretty good. Love it. You love to hear it. The song comes on, baby. I love to hear it. You know what else I love to hear? Bands that have
your second
drummers named...
favorite British rock band with a drummer named Roger Taylor.
That's right, yeah. Duran Duran in 1995.
Such a perfect day. I'm glad I spent it with you. Such a perfect day.
So we talked about Duran Duran 2 weeks ago.
Pretty recently.
Very recently, not for the cover of The Weight, but for the cover of 5 years? Yes, for the cover of 5 years.
Yeah, what a surprise.
What a surprise! What is a surprise, I guess, to me is that I thought maybe their cover albums thing was just kind of a recent, like we're kind of done doing new shit. But they've been doing cover albums, it looks like a long time.
Since at least the 90s.
Since at least 95. This one was pretty popular, hit number 28 on the UK singles chart, and we talked about Roger Taylor. Apparently, this is pretty interesting because this song, at the time in the 90s, I guess Roger Taylor wasn't making a lot of appearances, either with the band or in general. I didn't really dig into it, but he appears in the music video and had a promotional Top of the Pops appearance for the song, so that was a big deal at the time.
Roger Taylor's back. Yeah, I mean, they were a pretty popular band. We talked about how their Wikipedia page compares their level of popularity to the Beatles.
Yeah.
Which is always a big claim.
That's a huge claim, considering, I don't know. I'm not a crazy Duran Duran guy. I like Hungry Like the Wolf.
Yeah, I once heard them referred to as the first boy band, which, in addition to not really being true, I don't think is really true, if that makes sense.
Yeah, even if you were to, consider a boy band, somebody who doesn't write... no, there's boy bands from, so much earlier.
Yeah, I mean, certainly they talked about, girl groups in, the 60s. As far as I remember. And what was the Monkees then?
If I was gonna pick a first boy
band or something like that.
I would say the Monkees are probably a good fit.
And they apparently don't like that designation. Maybe not. Someone said it's not accurate. Anyway, I don't remember where I heard that, but it seems like maybe a silly thing to say. Maybe they were just really pretty and everyone's like, boy band, because of that.
Boy band.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I think the connotation of it has changed and also
true.
Splintered, because you also have South Korea has boy bands that are very popular and are their own school of music over there, basically, right? It's it's very very different from how we have boy bands here.
Though I would still compare it to the Backstreet Boys NSYNC.
Yeah, it definitely comes off from that, but I guess just the culture around it is so different.
Yeah, but not I don't know, the Jonas Brothers. Do they count?
Yeah.
I don't
boy
know.
bands, not what we're here to talk about.
Yeah. Anyway,
unless that boy band is the first boy band, Duran Duran.
The first ever boy band. First ever band of boys. Look at these boys.
Finally, a band of boys.
Yeah.
Fucking Lou Reed said this one was the greatest version of his song ever written. Where did I put that quote? He did say something. It's funny because every time we talk about Lou Reed, he's always like, oh, yeah. Oh, here's the quote. He says, they'd been very cooperative with me. They sent me the tape, and I thought it was great. I don't dislike pop stuff. I love pop stuff. I just don't particularly do it. So when I said it's better than mine, it's better than mine as pop. Mine isn't, I guess, what you would call pop. But I thought they were really trying to do a nice thing with it from their point of view. So some kind of guarded praise from Lou Reed there, but praise nonetheless.
Yeah, it is. I mean, for Lou Reed to be like, yeah, it's better than mine. That's pretty high praise, even if he means there's an asterisk, Yeah,
you don't get that often.
And it is, it's a really cleaned up version. I have way too many notes on this one.
Okay, good.
Because
it's very
went through
high production.
It is high production. It's got more of that. I mean, it's the Duran Duran sound. You get a lot more. The vocals sound much cleaner and compressed. And they have
a little bit of weird echo
drum
on
machine.
it.
They definitely have a drummer. It might just be a drum machine if Roger Taylor is not around.
But he is in the music video.
But he didn't have to play for that, right?
Yeah, and you could definitely get away with the drum machine for this.
As well. They still keep it pretty chill in a lot of ways, at least at the start. And then they replace some stuff. They have some piano at the start, but then it's a lot of that synth pad chords and stuff. And then
in the back is just guitar. A pad, drone.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very like Duran at the peak of their power. It's very synthetic, very 80s.
Yeah, even though it's 95.
Yeah. Well, you can't. They never left the 80s, man.
They didn't need to.
That's right. It's very like moody-ish, kind of like that like new wave style of like detached vocals that imply some sadness.
Yeah. They do that. Especially in this like more ballad kind of setup.
Yeah, this pop ballad structure. It's very pop, I noticed. It's quite poppy.
It's very pop. It's not really something that Lou Reed would do.
No, you wouldn't call what Lou Reed does pop, but like you call this pop. Yeah. So yeah, it's a very synth-filled verse, and then the chorus is like guitar arpeggio and some synth swells.
And some synth swells. Oh, there's synth swells, baby.
Well, there's some swell synth on this, isn't there?
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. There's also some other things, like they had a little guitar riff, I think, in the second verse.
Yeah.
So little things like that. So there's definitely like more. They're filling out more space. They're just doing, a similar vibe, but they're doing a very different thing. But at the same time, following a very similar structure.
They
like
even
no
get
piano,
some
a lot of synth,
piano on
space,
verse
guitar. Is there some
Yeah.
piano on verse too?
Yeah, it's like it cuts through on the Weekenders line. It's a real like dun, dun,
Like
dun,
super
dun,
like
dun.
reverby kind of.
Yeah, like imitating raindrops almost, you know?
Oh yeah. Like just a ton of echo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that sound.
You know that sound. You love that sound.
Oh my gosh, I'm still coughing.
Come on, Alex, get it together.
I'm trying.
It's okay. It'll be all right. Yeah, strings on this. The strings are very, like, I guess synthetic. They're different from what's on the original. It's not the same.
No,
energy.
it's not like, it doesn't sound like a quartet or whatever's in the original.
No.
I don't actually remember. Anyway, but yeah, they make it all synthetic and stuff. I do think it's a pretty good spin on it, you know?
I do think
it's
so.
obviously a very
I think
different sound. Maybe it sounded dated in 95. I don't know, but like it's cool. Don't care.
I don't know.
about that now.
It charted and stuff. Like
That's
it did
true.
pretty well at the time.
I guess we talk about the early 90s, like pop music got completely discarded for like Nirvana.
Yeah.
But that's probably not true, right? Like
No, that's
people
not
still
true.
listen to pop music.
Yeah, we were there. We were there when the radio was pumping out hits. It wasn't all grunge. I was barely familiar with grunge, honestly, growing up listening to popular radio. Like,
Yeah.
I knew the big ones.
I knew what Nirvana was, kind of, but I didn't know the word grunge necessarily.
I knew it because I had achieved it. I wasn't familiar with the band.
Right, yeah. I just, I understand that there's suffering in the world and I won't be reincarnated again.
Yeah, I'm out of the fucking cycle of reincarnation.
Yeah. Nice.
Do we get a kind of guitar solo on this?
Yeah, I think we do. It really kind of keeps the cadence of the original, or what I called the solo. But instead of the like, it plays like ba-doo-da-doo, ba-doo-da-doo.
Ba-doo-da-doo. Yeah. It's
da-da-da-da. Plays ba-doo-da-doo.
yeah, it almost like chops it up and then like plays it more upwards. It's a little lighter.
But it is a very similar idea.
Yeah.
Yet different.
And then they get the backing vocals in for the Reap Just What You Sow section.
It's true. The pretty big backup vocals and like builds up into like a choir. And the drums too there get that really big, like reverb as everything builds.
This is where they got Roger Taylor in. It was probably a drum machine first half. He stepped in.
It's like someone's got to reverb these whatever gates.
You're gonna reverb just what you sow.
Yeah, that's what they say.
That's what they say. Yeah, big
There's also
number.
some of those backup vocals, like
they're very popular styled vocals.
Yeah, popular vocals.
Very big. They're what would you call that? What kind of singing style is that, Alex?
I don't know, man. Some shouty person in the background. That's what I call it.
Yeah, that's what you call it. It's dramatic.
They're just they're not saying words.
Gets the people going. Yeah. Yeah. What about the music video for this one, Alex?
What about the music video for this one?
I'd say a lot better than their music video for 5 years.
Yeah, it's kind of similar in a lot of ways too. They're like in
It's
a
crazy.
room.
The keyboardist looks exactly the same.
Exactly the same. It's wild. His like bleached hair and like eye makeup. They're all in their kind of like shiny, I assume silk suits.
Yeah.
Of various colors. They're in this like reddish orange, but probably red. Just with light. Space.
Yeah, this
like
red orange
box,
like
basically.
box.
We learn later that the wall is removed, which of course because the camera is there.
Yeah, they let us know it's a soundstage really quick. I don't know if they just thought people would be worried. Like Duran's in a box. We gotta get him out.
All that sound is bouncing around. And yeah, they just kind of they play, but they start very slow. So I think the footage is slowed down, at least in the wide shots.
I would believe that. And you've got, of course, one guitarist just slumped on the left wall there. Sitting.
They're all sitting down at first, actually. And then, like, the singer gets up. Well, except for the keyboardist guy.
Yeah.
But the other guy, he's not sitting, but he's leaning against the wall.
He's leaning. They're very reposed.
And then they kind of slowly, like, get up and start to become more active. Just a bit, though.
Yeah.
And like I said, the footage is slowed down, so it feels a little more lethargic. And I think even the sound lags the video a bit. Just to make it feel a little sluggish.
A little sluggish. And then we get weird around the minute mark, around like 58 seconds. We just start shooting random images of helicopters, sunshine, flowers dying.
They're like dying
clouds.
flowers. This weird like floral wraith thing. That's like
a floral wraith.
119. Yeah, I know. It's 119, but you gotta like go by frame.
Oh, it's truly a wraith. Yeah, it's like a little skeleton person.
Like a skeleton thing and like a flower wreath.
Yeah.
So yeah, they got some of that. I don't know what all this imagery means, man, but there's a lot of stuff flashing there. There's more.
Yeah, what do you think their
think,
interpretation of the song is? Is it heroin?
Some of the like death imagery makes it seem like that, or at least they're talking about like maybe spending time with people before they die, kind of thing.
Maybe it's about the impermanence of your perfect days and how little they matter in the long term, because eventually you're just gonna fucking die.
So there's also a bit where there's like a photo album with all of them. Mm-hmm. It's not like showing them do stuff, but it shows like, you know.
But their pictures do move in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's and then they're watching a black and white movie.
Yeah. I don't know what movie that is.
I don't know if it's a movie or it's just like some footage of a crowd.
They're like performing for a crowd, but it's black and white and like from an old-timey movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's stuff. There's other bits. Like there's a bit where one of the band members just like on a silver chair in this space and everyone else is gone. So like suddenly they're alone. So maybe that's part of it. You know, you talk about like they're together and then now suddenly they're not. He's just on his own. Lying around, moving, sitting on the chair, not sitting on the chair. Sitting on not the chair.
Yeah, he crawls around for a bit.
Yeah.
Walks a bit. And then there's a lot of shots of like death. You're right, like on flowers and hearts.
So it really feels like they're going for the sort of impermanence theme.
Yeah.
Of like nothing lasts forever. Maybe appreciate it while you have it. Maybe something else.
Yeah, this another like flower wraith skeleton woman just pukes fucking flowers at one point.
Everywhere, and also pukes a heart, but like an anatomical heart, not like a heart.
Not like a love heart.
It might be a brain, actually. It's very quick.
Yeah.
You see the one guy playing a sitar, which I don't think is in the song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a heart. Is it? A heart with feathers.
And then you get, I think the keyboardist throwing flowers at the camera.
He throws the flowers.
Yeah.
So there's some weird stuff in this one. Possibly mostly visual, you know? Just like, this looks cool, let's put it in.
Yeah, it did seem like maybe Duran's got a budget. They're like, okay, well, this song, people are liking it. Why not make a music video? They gave it to a guy named Nick Egan to direct, who also directed Iggy Pop's Real Wild Child video. He's worked with NXS, Sonic Youth, Kylie Minogue, Belinda Carlisle, and Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger. So yeah, they basically just got a regular music video director to come in and do his thing with this, and it's pretty good. It's all right.
It's cool.
It's cool, but not as cool as having a name that rhymes with Mario. That's right. We're talking about Dario Campeotto in 2000.
Oh, it's such a perfect day. I'm glad I spend it with you. Oh, such a perfect.
Yeah, he's Danish. He sounds Italian because his parents are Italian.
That's right.
He actually died this year. He's in his 80s.
On April Fool's,
Yeah,
nonetheless.
so he's still alive.
Yeah, he's still out there. He's with Elvis now.
He's with Elvis on a flying saucer.
Yeah, he finished 5th in Eurovision one time. His song Angelique was pretty popular. And he did a cover of Perfect Day.
Yeah,
That's
he's
a
the guy
long
that's
5.5 minute one.
I mentioned he's in his 80s, so like he's been around for a long time, right?
It was in his 80s.
Stuff. He was in his 80s, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so he'd been around a minute.
But like an interesting minute, I guess, because the way he sings sounds very old-fashioned.
Yeah.
He's got like a deeper, almost like croony voice. I don't know if he's quite that. But then like this song has like a bunch of synthesizers and this kind of like dark guitar sound that's like
Yeah, almost like a spaghetti western guitar.
Yeah, exactly. Or surf even, like kind of got that.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that? Slapback, I guess is the sound.
Yeah.
Where you get that like really fast single echo kind of thing.
Right.
Kind of thing is what I said. I leaned away from the microphone. I shouldn't have done that.
Don't lean away from the microphone.
Never lean away from the microphone. Stay close.
Only lean closer to the microphone.
So it's cool. It's a cool sound. It's got like this electronic beat and this like ambient synthesizer and these really short guitar licks on that guitar, and then of course his vocals. And I think it's a cool combination of everything. Maybe partially because I know he's older, and I'm like, hey, electronic music for like an older artist? That's impossible.
Right. You're just like, hey, this guy's pretty cool. He's hip. He's with it.
Yeah, but that's less true, of course, in Europe.
Yeah.
But I think this version's really cool, actually. I really like this one.
And it is the longest version we're talking about today. It's a full, like, minute and a half.
5.5 minutes.
Yeah, but I think it manages to hold its space. It's got a lot of interesting musical things.
Yeah, especially like with those synths being like wee.
Yeah, that very bright, bouncy synth that comes on the chorus.
Yeah. And then even getting some more like strain later on over the course of the song, and like the low distorted guitar. I really like the low distorted guitar that comes in later on.
Yeah,
you know, all that. So again, doesn't necessarily change the structure all that much, but just puts a lot of cool sounds in there, and just is a bit offbeat because of the way everything goes together. You know, I wouldn't necessarily think that this style of singing would go with this style of playing.
Yeah, or that guitar would go with that synth, that would go with those electric drums, and like it is an odd mishmash of things that seem to come out okay.
But it's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah. A bit of organ comes in on verse 2 about halfway through.
You know, I love organ. I mean, this guy has a background. We talked about how he's been around for a while. He's got like a musical theater background and like opera and stuff.
Yeah, he's a busy guy. He's like an actor. He's a singer.
Yeah, he's got all kinds of stuff going on. So it's cool, man. What cool.
Yeah, and the solo on this, so like, is very like almost industrial. We get a lot of chopping up of noises, around like 250 here.
Okay. Yeah, with some of that synth and like the distorted guitars and all that.
Yeah,
but
it's
it
like
is still making the
electronic noises in the right, and then like just hard guitar in the left.
And it's the same. It's cool. Like the original, down, you know, just the low, high, low, high kind of thing. It breaks that up, like you were saying. So like the less distorted one, or the
it divvies that one between these two things. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool sound.
Yeah, and so we get some of that. There's cool sounds on this. You get some of the same like vibes from the original, some of that floatiness, some of that softness, some of that drama in that, like particularly in that solo section, I think. And then it ends weird, though. Because we get some, like, end-of-record noises after an extended, like, outro section. Like literally like a record, like, hitting the end
hiss,
on a record player.
And then the click.
And then a dude says, "You still there, Bongo?" And another guy says, "Oh, shit, I told you."
Who's Bongo?
I don't fucking know.
Oh, shit. I forgot. Shit. Is it like he got distracted and forgot he was having this because he was having this perfect day? And now he's got to pay all this money on his phone bill? That doesn't make any sense. Maybe it does.
No, yeah, you hit it on the head, Alex.
He's like, they've been like on the line the whole time. And they were like, shit.
Oh, shit.
Maybe this one is about drug use, but not like heroin. Maybe it's just about like getting stoned a bit.
Yeah, maybe. He was just getting stoned and he
had lost track of time. He's like, I'm still here. Forgot to do what I needed to do, which kind of supports your interpretation of the
of
the lyrics.
Slacking on his duties.
Because it kind of sounds like that at the end. He's like, I'm still there. Or here.
I'm still there. Shit. I'm disassociated. I was just listening to guitars and shit. Yeah, maybe. But I'll tell you this, Alex. Fucking Leningrad Cowboys? They did a cover of this in the year 2006.
They sure did.
Oh, it's such a perfect day. I'm glad I spend it with you. On such a perfect day, you just keep me hanging on.
Finnish rock band. We've talked about them before. We talked about My Sharona, right?
That's correct, Alex.
Yeah.
They often work with a Russian military band. I don't know if they still do, given Russia and their military and all that.
Yeah, no idea. This is from 06.
This is from 06.
And they are Cowboys. Leningrad Cowboys. And
yeah, so they're pretty like hard rock.
Yeah, they are pretty hard rock. And this is like a very intense version.
Yeah, it's like the Nothing Else Matters of Perfect Day covers.
Yes. It is the Nothing Else Matters of Perfect Day covers. And they're going, like, they constantly have these heavy drums. And then, of course, in the intro and then in, like, the chorus, these, like, high moments, they add cymbals. And, like, they have these heavy distorted guitars, which, of course, are higher in the chorus. They also have, like, a pizzicato strings, I think, at 2 different points. So it's basically like symphonic metal intensity, not full symphony, but like it kind of has that intensity.
It's definitely drawing on that. You get this like rolling organ that comes in the back pretty quick to this.
Playing fast, yeah.
Yeah, and so there is like high tension on this one, and then these big dramatic notes, this bum, 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 dum, from the piano. Like this one has like a high level of intensity to it.
Yeah, which like I don't 100% know that it fits this song. But
yeah,
I can't say it's not engaging.
Yeah, I'd say detached from Perfect Day, I think it's a pretty interesting composition. I would listen to this, but it sounds more like we're setting sail on Viking ships than we're drinking sangria in the park. Like,
yeah, it like completely drops the casual laid back thing.
Yeah,
to what end? I can't really say. To just be
I'm not sure it like it lends to a take or anything. It doesn't make me like reconsider the lyrics.
Yeah, but like it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds pretty ripping. Like,
and sometimes
but I do
that's all it takes.
Feel like exactly. I feel like I'm storming Dracula's castle. Like when we get to the chorus, I'm like,
yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. Anything really intense.
Yeah,
and there's just like layers of vocals.
Yeah.
A few vocalists that you can hear.
That's right.
And they have some of these like big contrasty moments, right? They move into the outro and like everything drops completely down and he just says, "You're gonna reap." So I guess that is the one bit where it does drop down. And the strings go bum, 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 and then you're just like back into it.
Yeah, this version is like massive.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I have to say about this one. That's what they do. That's the song.
Yeah, they're like, it's all pretty solid. I just don't know if it should be Perfect Day.
Sarah's yawning. Because I'm bored. Not enough pop culture references.
Okay, so it's so Castlevania was kind of like the Dracula's Castle reference.
Oh my god, I missed that one. I'm engaged again.
Yeah. Okay, okay, good. Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
It gets really triumphant in our outro here
of Leningrad Cowboys covers.
Triumph like the comic insult dog.
Oh, the comic insult dog. I thought you were gonna say the band Triumph.
Oh yeah, well that's still okay. We could do like Canadian band Triumph.
Yeah, is the comic insult dog also Canadian? Probably not.
I hope not.
Why have I heard about that twice in the last week and like haven't heard about that in years, and now this is the third time I've heard it referenced in the last week? What's going on?
He's making a comeback maybe.
What's
I don't know.
happening?
I just thought of things with triumph in it because I said that the outro sounded triumphant.
What a weird thing.
A weird thing. Yeah, this cover's weird. Triumph, the insult comic dog. The comic insult dog? What?
I don't know, man. I remember it existing, but I don't think I ever watched it.
Yeah, it wasn't for me, man. But yeah, that is that. But something that is for me is Italian skate punk bands. So that's why we're going to talk about Beerbong in 2007.
It's such a perfect day. I'm glad I'm spending with you. Oh, such a perfect day. You just keep me hanging on.
Beerbong. A bit difficult to Google. Not impossible.
No, they're an Italian skate punk band formed in 1996 in Gorizia, Italy. They're melodic hardcore punk. They're formed by ex-members of Centura. I said that funny. Censura, maybe. I don't fucking know.
Another melodic hardcore. Punk band. Speedy
Punk
melodic
band.
punk band.
That's right.
Yeah, and they're Italian. Supposedly they're known for their technical ability. High-speed playing, particularly drumming. So that's cool. I feel like if any member of a punk band is going to be known for their technical skill, it's usually the drummer, and it's usually because of them playing very fast.
Yeah.
That's my experience.
That is like the best way to get technical as a drummer is play quick.
Just play quick. No, you got to play slow so you can play fast.
So you can yeah. Okay, Alex. Sure. So this opens with 2 notes of piano, and the guy's starting to sing it like it's a little piano song.
Yeah, they kind of fake it out.
Yeah, he sighs. He's like, "No, I'm not going to do this." And then we get into some real punk rock.
Yeah, I get into that fast punk fare. And yeah, it's a punk remake. I mean, it's literally the album title is Punk Remake.
Hey, yeah, look at that, Alex.
Volume 1. So yeah, they kind of start with like chugging, and they have that through the first verse, pretty straightforward. But they do switch it up, you know. As they go, like they go into the more like filtered vocals, but like the drums are still going. And then it actually skips the back half of that, but they do kind of change, particularly the drums change how they play. And like earlier
so
on,
you're saying there's a lot of like technical
stuff going on with the drums, particularly speed.
Yeah.
Of playing, they really do. The drums are really going for a while there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, kind of like the drums go like double time, you know, and it's like, oh, such a perfect day, but the drums go.
Yeah, so they double time us in the chorus, and that sticks for verse 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a big win for the drummer, I think. Great drumming on this.
A lot of it's on the drummer. I don't believe, I have to double check now because I didn't write it down. The way they do the chugging, it's mostly chugging.
Yeah.
The way they do it changes a bit.
Yes.
As they go, and they have some like kind of riffier sections. But you know, it's a lot of power chords.
Yeah, a lot of power chords. And then we start to get more hardcore towards the end there as we get some screaming in.
Oh yeah, it gets screamy at the end. I mean, that's the hardcore.
Yeah, that's your hardcore component. And then, yeah, we go out on just like mad drums. It's a good time. 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, it's quick. It's real fast. What more could you ask for?
What more could you ask for? I mean, there's not a lot of emphasis on the vocal delivery on this. Like, you're not meant to read the lyrics and be like, perfect day. But any line where you talk about yourself not being good typically fits in with punk rock pretty
Like
well.
perfectly, yeah.
Yeah. So there
Am
is
I
a bit of like
Bad?
lyrical
Quoted
line there.
A punk artist.
Quoted a punk artist.
Punk rock
But you
guy.
know what punk loves sometimes? Ska. And you know what ska loves? Being
jolly.
being jolly. All right. I was gonna say being born from Mento, which is the style of this
Mento.
band. The Jolly Boys,
The
2010.
Jolly Boys.
Oh, it's such a perfect day. I'm glad I spent it with you. Oh, such a perfect day. You just keep me and
Quite a long-lived band. Although
A.
I was reading their description, and some of it didn't, I think, quite add up. But they've been around for a very long time. So the band itself formed in supposedly 1945.
Okay.
But I was looking up the members, and it also said like it still has some original members. But based on when they were born, I was like, unless they started playing in the band when they were 6, which is not impossible. But like,
Yeah, this is like folk music. They could very well be in
yeah.
there at
So
6
maybe
years
they
old.
could have been there at 6, but they would have had to have been.
Yeah,
Unless they were like part of the kind of second or first and a half generation kind of thing.
maybe.
So I don't know.
Yeah, their
But
mento
they've been
music
around
is
for a
like
long
Jamaican
time.
folk music that predates and influenced ska and reggae. Think of skiffle, but for Jamaica.
Yeah, exactly. And there's some similar things in it. Like we'll see, there's like a backbeat accent, but it's not. I wouldn't really call it a skank necessarily. Like it's not as pronounced as that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've got.
Also, this is in the year 2010.
It is in
so
the year
it's like-
2010. So this is post ska, post reggae.
Like the post ska and reggae have both been born at this point.
Yeah. They've been well explored
Yes.
by the 2010s.
Exactly. Often confused with calypso. Apparently, I don't know enough about calypso to tell you why that is.
I think
tell
calypso
you
is
this.
just like there's similarities, but calypso is more like Trinidad and Tobago,
Okay.
I
yeah.
believe.
I believe that is correct,
But,
Alex.
You know, they're close.
So this is a lot of acoustic instruments. We open with some guitar and some drumming, some hand drumming,
Yeah, nice hand drumming.
and some whistling. Very, very organic here.
Like the whistling.
yeah.
I think the bass. They have a Roomba box player,
yes.
which is like bassy, and I think that's what the bass is, or at least part of the bass.
Yeah, because there's also just bass. Like you can hear it right off the first note. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, I don't know where it splits. You know what is one versus the other.
Right. What do you think about drinking Baileys in the
Drinking
park?
Baileys in the park. I don't know. I guess they like Baileys.
Does it, like in Jamaica, it's just like hot and sweaty and having your cream-based liqueur doesn't seem good to me.
Yeah, they must really like Baileys. I don't know. Like it seems like a weird thing. I mean, obviously, my associations for alcohol and Jamaica is like rum, right?
Yeah,
But
that
it's
would
not
be.
that. So
Typically,
I don't
it's
know,
not
man.
that.
Baileys. I guess they just like Baileys. My parents like to put Baileys in coffee, and then a lot of people like to put Baileys
Okay.
in coffee. I think.
They do a lot of that when you were growing up.
They definitely do a lot of it now. When I was growing up, I don't know.
Yeah, the Baileys and coffee is a classic
Yeah.
combination.
I don't know. So drinking in the park, I don't know, man. It's definitely
Yeah,
a lot less casual drinking, I think. To
Yeah, I
drink,
feel like
straight
sangria
Baileys
is like, oh,
versus
we're having a
sangria.
picnic and getting a little silly. Drinking
Yeah.
Baileys is like, I don't know. I don't know
That's
what we're
heavy.
doing out here.
Irish cream liqueur.
Just a bit of Irish cream, baby. There a lot of vocal. He does a lot of.
Yeah, he's
This
old
guy.
at this point too.
He is ancient.
Yeah.
This man is a skeleton.
Wah. But he's going. His
Yeah,
voice
he
sounds
does.
really cool too. He's got a really like
Mhm.
deep voice.
such a perfect day.
Exactly.
That's like not it, but it's kind of
No.
it.
But it's low. It's low like that. Yeah. Other than
Yeah.
that, you kind of get this like bop, 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 bop. That's on a banjo.
Yeah, that's right. That's kind of some of your backbeat action there.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, cool sounds.
Yeah, it's cool
'Cause it's
sounds.
more,
It makes for
like you
very
said, like,
laid back
organic kind of.
atmosphere. Even the whistling is very like just easy breezy.
Yeah, it's like
You're like, oh yeah, we are having a perfect day, even if we're drinking Baileys
Yeah,
in this
just kinda-
park.
does those ascending notes. What else is going on in this one?
We get keyboard around like 2:34.
234 keyboard. Looking for keyboard.
I'm looking for it too. What the fuck?
What does the keyboard do?
I think it's like a. Hang on. It might be a keyboard. It might just be the filter on a guitar. It's just like
Could be.
bam,
Yeah.
bam, bam. It does that bam, but it sounds. It's a weird. Maybe it's just a weird tone on that guitar. So there's no keyboard. False alarm on the keyboard. Everybody
Okay,
relax.
all right, I'll chill. Yeah, because what they have, like, they have a strumming guitar. They've got another strumming guitar, I think, and like some hand drumming, like you said. It sounds like a
Yeah.
drum with skin on it versus like a cajon or something like that.
Yeah.
Banjo, like we said, there's quite a bit of banjo, and then that whistling. So like that's kind of what makes it up, really. And I think there's a Roomba box in there somewhere.
There is, because you can see the guy playing it in the music video.
Yes, you can. That's true. Right, the music video. Yeah.
Yeah. But of course, before we get into that, there's a little bit of fast strumming in our outro, our Reap What You Sow Astro. And some hand drum, little backing harmonies come in. But it's a pretty abrupt end on this.
Yeah, after it does that breakdown and stuff.
Yeah, and it's just like, see ya. We're done. Jolly Boy's out.
Yeah, they play the like bum 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 bum, like low in the bass, and then it goes dee, 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 almost like they kept going a bit too long.
Yeah.
Like he was supposed to end a bar earlier.
Yeah, they're like, stop.
Like,
stop.
No,
He's
don't
like, oh,
stop.
okay.
He's like, I was really into this one arpeggio I was playing.
Yeah. So they got a music video, Alex.
They do have a music video.
And it's the story of a guy.
And ghosts.
His
dead wives.
Yeah, because that's what they looked like back in the day, right? They're dressed like fucking Victorian era ladies.
Yeah, very like colorful dresses.
Yeah, very big, colorful, and they got the like curly ringlet style hair.
Yeah.
So we get him in the silhouette first, though. He does this big and then the wow.
Oh yeah.
Big exaggerated motions. Then we see this ancient man, and then we get silhouettes of the ladies. He's hanging out. Is he remembering his dead wives? Is that the vibe of this song?
Like it feels like that, or girlfriends, like relationships.
Right, but then he picks up some girl at the end.
Because he's like, yeah, I still got it. I'm like 78.
You get shots of the whistling cowboy in here. A lot of emphasis on the dudes' faces of the ones
it shows
performed
the
song.
Shows the guy playing the banjo, shows the guy whistling.
Yeah.
Shows that Roomba box, like we said.
And then, of course, we call the women ghosts because they literally are like superimposed and like transparent.
Transparent, yeah.
You got your guy with the maracas in there.
Right, the maracas. That's the other percussion.
Yeah, it's a great video for like seeing what the instruments are. It's a great video for seeing old Jamaican dudes wearing sunglasses.
Yeah, and sometimes not wearing sunglasses.
Yeah, sometimes wearing trilbies.
Sometimes just on boats.
Yeah, and then that's like at the end they get on a boat and then they pick up some girl at the pier.
Because they still got it.
Yeah, that's maybe it. It's like, hey man, there are more perfect days to be had. Or is he supposed to be like some playboy? And it's like, well, dude, your life at this point is just picking up ladies still.
Honestly, maybe.
A lot of like interpretive stuff this week, man. It's not easy to nail anything down. But hey, kind of a cool music video. It was pretty fun to look at.
Yeah, I like to see when it's hard to tell what is playing. It's nice to see the videos where they're playing.
Yeah, you get a little visualization. It's nice. And that marimba box looks really cool. It's got some nice designs on it.
Yeah.
It's cool stuff. You know what else is cool, though? Jazz and blues from the Dutch jazz scene. And who better to give us that than Lils Mackintosh in 2012?
Oh, it's such a perfect day. I'm glad I spent it with you. Oh, such a perfect day. You just keep me hanging.
Yeah, so Dutch, like you said, first name sounds Dutch, last name not so much.
No,
it doesn't
sounds
really
like
matter.
a computer or an apple.
Sounds like a computer. Or a fruit.
Or a fruit of some kind.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
well,
Alex.
yeah.
Well, yeah. She worked with B.B. King and a bunch of other people.
Yeah, I was
B.B.
looking
King's
at
the only name I
her
recognized.
history, and she started out doing like rock operas or something, and then moved into jazz.
Okay, fair enough.
Did I read that right? Yeah.
Sure. I mean, like,
Natural
yeah.
music, Dutch rock
She
opera.
must like rock at some
kind of.
level because she's doing Perfect Day here.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any more rock and roll than that.
No way.
No way. She keys in on the fact that the bridge or solo from the original is super fucking cool.
Yes,
and so
it
she
plays it a lot.
opens with that. Yeah, and she plays it quite a bit.
It's a jazz one, and it's like a pretty stripped down jazz one. So it's mostly entirely guitar. her
Yeah,
voice?
it's like two guitars.
Yeah, and voice,
And
of
then
course.
her voice is very old school.
Yeah,
It reminds me of fucking somebody.
It's very. I mean, it's like jazz, kind of gentle, and also like a little husky.
Yeah, a little like maybe a bit Tina Turner is what I'm thinking of because there's that huskiness.
Yeah, a little bit of that, and in particular, like noticed it right at the start when she's like not singing as much. Like she's kind of like on the edge of like singing. Like, and like, it's almost not melodic at first.
Right, yeah.
I thought that was, I don't know. Maybe that's not the best way to describe it, but that's what it made me think of. But then she gets, more like smoother later on.
Yeah, she's kind of doing like the jazz version of Lou Reed's talk singing.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's a good comparison.
And then she kind of like cuts loose as we get into your chorus. Yeah, it's not a bad arrangement here.
No, it sounds nice. I mean, it syncs up with the original in terms of the feeling. And she's got a cool sounding voice, and she's a good singer.
Yeah, and it's real simple moves to keep it interesting. Some harmonies on the end of the chorus, liberal use of the bridge from the original, which
is a good sound. Yep, like you said,
it's a good sound.
Very, very sounds very cool.
And then she whispers "Just Perfect Day" at the end.
Yeah, and not only that, right after not doing like the outro, really. She doesn't have like a reap what you sow section.
That's right, she doesn't. This version is a little lighter on content, 257, a little shorter. Yeah. She focuses in. She says, let's put no doubt into this.
It is just
to have a perfect day.
Yeah. You know who's good at the jazz version of that Lou Reed talk singing?
Who?
Nina Simone.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, like what is that one?
I mean,
there's a live version of it.
We talked about Wild as the Wind.
BoJack Horseman. Yeah, we talked about Wild as the Wind.
What's in BoJack
too.
Horseman? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, there's the one. I can't remember what it's. No, I'm not even sure if it's Nina Simone. She does a song though. She sings songs. She's a known singer, Alex.
Sure is.
She sure is. It's called Stars, maybe? Yes, Stars, Nina Simone.
Okay.
And it's good. So think about that, Alex. You know who else was alive at the same time as Nina Simone is still alive today, and he's the reason we're talking about this song today because he covered it very recently. It's Al Green in 2023.
Perfect day. I'm glad I spent it with you.
Reverend
Al Green.
Current
Is he still Reverend?
I don't know. I've heard him referred to as Reverend Green.
Yeah.
We talked about it on this show.
We talked about it. That's right. Here's the thing about Al Green. I was like, Al Green, this guy, his girlfriend dies, he becomes a reverend. I'm like, what a sweetheart. There must be nothing wrong with this dude.
Yeah.
He has several assault charges from the 70s. Yeah. Every time he owes somebody money, apparently he just thinks he should kick their ass instead.
So, yeah.
Yeah. That was a bit of a whiplash for me, but sings like an angel.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, he's late 70s. Sounds real
Yeah.
good in this. And
Right, as in he is in his late 70s, not as in he's a guy from the late 70s.
yeah, he's in his late 70s.
Yes.
And sings very well. And oh my gosh, the arrangement in this one, it's like,
Oh, yeah.
it's all like just really, or instruments that can be like really intense and rowdy, but like being played very softly.
Yeah,
And
you got this organ. You've got some echoey synth, some drums kind of roll in. Like, it is a bit of a scream intro with the drums and the organ,
A little bit.
but it's to a bit of like a more of a soul effect, almost gospel style, right?
Yeah, that's where he comes from for sure.
Yeah.
But then like it never gets like super crazy. You get a little bit of the like electric piano sound.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's just another organ.
Yeah. It could be.
Yeah, that might just all be organ. Anyway, but there's like some organ on there and like big strings and backup
Yeah.
singers, but it never goes like super crazy, even though it's like a really like full arrangement.
Yeah, it is quite full, and he really does some good singing on this. He
Yeah.
even on like he says drink wine instead of sangria, but he goes drink he chews it up.
Yeah, but it just like never goes over the top kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like because even when we hit the chorus, which is typically your largest part, it's just it's like and it rises, but it's more like gentle.
Yeah, and he's never like shouty or even like too loud. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it any other way.
Oh, just a perfect day. Yeah, he's very down low.
Which is cool because it's like raising everything up without going too far away from what is even done in the original, you know?
Yeah.
And even not necessarily reaching the same heights of intensity in some ways as the original, but also because it's such a full arrangement.
Yeah, this version has like as there can be a little darkness in the Lou Reed version. This one feels just more comfort like throughout.
Yeah.
And yeah, this dude still loves to sing. He's singing pretty high too, which is impressive for a man of 70 some odd years old.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, I'm sure he's lost some range because everyone does,
For sure.
And I don't know Al Green music all that well, but yeah, damn. This one. I wasn't necessarily expecting much out of it. I don't know why. Just because he's old, I guess.
Some fucking old dude releases a cover. I was like, oh, okay, who?
But
who
yeah,
cares?
I'm like, oh, that sounds really good. It all sounds so good.
Yeah, it's a very well-produced version, well-performed. We do get the bridge. We get that.
Mhm.
But even that, I think with the use of his strings, I don't know, they're like fatter or more gentle or something. It's not that same height of drama that the original gives us.
So yeah, it's like not as sharp sounding kind of on the bowing.
Yeah.
And everything, I like the way everything just like weaves around each other.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite a gentle version.
The strings do have a smoother sound to it. It's not, like they kind of ease into the note a little slower.
Yeah, because on the original it's dun 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 dun, like, and even reinforced with that piano. There's a lot of heavy hitting in that
there's
for a
just a
song
little-
that is generally pretty light.
A little less of that.
Yeah. And then he's doing like we talked about Aretha Franklin's cover of Nothing Compares to You, or was it The Wait? Well, both actually. Where she just has like a lot of fun on it. And
Right.
that's you can tell here too that Al Green is really enjoying this song and like how he's like, oh, you're gonna reap just what you sow, don't you know? And it's those little vocalizations add levity.
Add a lot. Yeah. I was impressed.
Yeah, I thought it was really tight. But is it the best? Let's find out. We got
find
3
out.
categories today. It's our final verdict. We got the worst version, the best version, and the version you would play while having a picnic in the park, or feeding animals, or seeing a movie,
Or
or doing heroin. Alex, what's the worst version of this?
what is the worst version of this? I thought they were all pretty decent.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw worst to, and I didn't dislike it even. I'm gonna throw worst to Leningrad Cowboys because it was kind of detached from the feeling. Like it just made it so intense.
Yes.
But it's still fine. You know?
Yeah, it was like the Leningrad Cat is a good song. Like it's just not Perfect Day though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and if I'm gonna run three, there's like Duran has a pretty good take on it. Dario Campeotto, he's got some good stuff going on there. Beerbong, I mean, it's simple, but technically skilled, my brother. There's some good punk rock there. The Jolly Boys, yeah, dude, weird. You don't hear Mento a lot.
No.
Lils Mackintosh, very good for what typically doesn't move the meter with me. And Al Green, fucking man. So yeah, I think you might be right, Alex. Leningrad just thematically is off. That's what gets you worse this week.
Sometimes that's the way it goes.
That's the way it goes. But Alex, let's flip it. Let's be positive. What's the best version of Perfect Day?
The best version. My top is probably between Dario and Al Green.
Some good choices, Alex.
Yeah, but who do I give it to?
I'll tell you, I'm giving it to Al Green. I think it was just a solid take, and it sounds good.
It is good. I'll just spread it out a bit. I'll give it to Dario Campeotto.
Yeah.
But everyone's a winner today because everyone gets to listen to Perfect Day.
That's right, baby. Everybody's having a perfect day, Alex. You're having your own perfect day, having a picnic, or feeding animals at the zoo, or going to the movies, or doing heroin. What version of this is playing?
Probably the Jolly Boys. I feel like that's a good one for actually having a perfect day too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't know. It sounds cool. It's laid back. I mean, that's the same as a lot of them. I don't know. I'd probably just listen to all of Transformer, but I'm gonna say the Jolly Boys.
That's a solid pick. Yeah, Jolly Boys, great pick. Any performance where a guy is sitting on his drums, that's a good performance there. The old marimba box. It's like, come on. My instrument is a chair. Easy. We're living easy today. For my perfect day, my perfect pay, it's got to be Beerbong, baby. That way, anything I can do it quick. I can get my perfect day done and then have time to do other shit.
I have time to do other shit. I have time to walk. I gotta improve myself. I gotta have an actual weekend.
Yeah, I gotta have an actual weekend. So, go to the park, chug a jug of sangria in a hot 2 minutes, 35 seconds.
You're like, damn, this is perfect, and then leave.
He was like, that's fucking awesome. I gotta go. And that's our final verdicts. If you got a similar opinion, different opinion, want to talk to us about a version we didn't talk about, of which there are a few, hit us up on Twitter. #CoverMePod, @JakeCressy, @some Alex Wise Guy. Send us your comments, questions, concerns, suggestions for future episodes. You can also email those to us at covermepod@gmail.com. Talk to us there. Talk to us there. Tell your friends and family and loved ones, neighbors, enemies, strangers about us. You are the marketing team. You got to make this happen. What you can do this week to really push that. I was watching the BBC footage, and of course David Bowie was in it, and he had a single earring that had it was a D. It was just a big letter D. It was very exciting. So what you can do is you guys can get a C and an M. You can have two earrings. You may make it one earring. Play around with the design a bit. Listen, it's your ears. You treat them how you like. And just wear those big things around, and then when people ask you what it's about, boom, cover me. They'll say, wow, must be pretty good if they've got earring merchandise. You'll say, no, I made these. And they'll say, well, hey, still. I'm like, yeah, check it out. That's what you can do for us this week. But that does it for today's episode of Cover Me. And as we always say on Cover Me, just a perfect day. Drink sangria in the park. And then later, when it gets dark, cover me.